You speak a lot about your experience and the going up the ladder over the 20, 30 years in America. Can you, for our audiences, recount some incidences of maybe sexism or racism that you faced in the workspace? It can't have been easy for you, but are there some specific incidents which really rankle even today?
Well, I talk about it all in the book, so it's well worth going through all of it because I put it all in context. But the typical discriminatory behaviors I would face were things when you're talking and some men talk over you and think that that's just fine to talk over a woman, even if that woman is in position of power, or when you're talking and some men roll their eyes at you and at what you're saying, whether it was me or some other women. You look there going, what's wrong with your eyes, or what's causing you to roll your eyes when women talk? So these sorts of behaviors are very, very common. Or when men all go away on bonding exercises to golf or to fish, and the woman is rushing home to take care of the kids or look after the family, you feel almost excluded from these brotherhoods of power, brotherhoods of bonding. So all of these were happening because the ideal worker of the past was a male. And I think over time, this ideal worker definition is changing to be more inclusive. And when the definition of the ideal worker changes, so also all the social structures that were set up for the old ideal worker are now slowly beginning to change. So as an early pioneer in this whole corporate world, I had the benefits and the challenges. The benefits were that lots of mentors, a lot of supporters who pulled me up. The challenges were that I had to put up with some of this behavior from people who didn't even realize they were behaving that way until it was pointed out to them. So I think there was a whole training process that went along with it. The situation today is much better, but it can be even better for young women as they come into the workplace.
But do you think men will give it up so easily, having tasted so much of the top end of the power game over the last so many decades? I mean, towards the end of your career at Pepsi, could you sometimes get a sense that there was a little bit of a pushback from the man's club or the boys' club, if you will, because they feel threatened that the old status quo could be changing?
Not really. No pushback from the men's club. I did sense that they were now looking at women more as competition rather than, oh God, just there's this random one woman who's come into the workforce, which is what it was early in my life. But now there's a critical mass of women entering the workforce. Many of them are ascending to middle management positions. And I'm beginning to see the competition between men and women escalate, because no longer is it one or two women, 40% of the workforce is women. So we have to make sure that there's no sharp elbows that come out and sort of try to edge some of the women out. And women themselves should figure out how to work with other women and other men. So there's a learning process that has to happen as we go along, and it's happening as we speak. And when people in power see bad behavior, I think we have to stop it right there. Very often, you see some bad behavior where, they talk over women or roll their eyes when women are talking. And then you say, I'll talk to that guy later on. Don't do that. Stop the meeting right there and say, stop behaving that way. Because if you call out that bad behavior right away and in a constructive way give feedback, it's amazing how the signaling effect is terrific. It tells everybody else that the boss is watching. So I think these sorts of things have to change, and if it does, I'm actually quite optimistic about the future.